Yo, what up, friends?
Seattle Seahawks winning 31-27 over the Los Angeles Rams. So let's go ahead and kick this off. Dirty Mojo, start us off. What were your thoughts on this game?
Oh, what a game. I mean, when you watch this game, this was a classic. This should be one of those ones that in a few years you can turn it on into one of the NFL Classic playoff games. Both those quarterbacks were on fire, playing all across the board. It was nothing left out there for our imagination. And I think what we said, too, on the last show was that we hope that this one is going to be one of those games that was totally different from that Denver Broncos game against the Patriots. And it sure enough was. It was a classic game. Both quarterbacks showed out. At the end of the day, I actually thought that the Rams were going to kind of pull it off. It kind of makes you think, too, towards the end of that game, should they have let them score a little earlier or what should they have done? But it all goes back to kick the field goals. Stop going for these plays on fourth down. We've been talking about this shit all year long. I don't know what it is about this algorithm or this what do they call
Analytics.
The analytics to go, man, kick the field goal because all they needed to do was get in the field goal range to possibly just win the game, but they didn't. So, hats off to the Rams. I think they had a fantastic season. I actually thought that the Rams were going to pull that one off, and I think when we had our little our comments and stuff like that, we thought it was going to be like the low-scoring game, kind of like the first one. It wasn't, man. I mean, anybody that was at that game got their money's worth, and anybody that actually plays for cable got their money worth watching that game on television too.
Yeah, I mean, again, all their games during the regular season were amazing, and we didn't expect anything different here. And I mean, you made a very good point. There were some decisions made within this game in both conference championships, to be honest, and there always are. This game comes down to decisions and what the coach decides to do in that sort of thing. And a lot of people, and especially on this show, it's been debated whether those analytics and whether you need to be going forward on certain downs or not is the actual way to go about it. Peach, what do you got?
Hey, great game. It didn't go like I thought it would. I did pick Seattle, if you guys remember. I thought Seattle would win, but I didn't think offenses would go up and down the field like they did. But again, the Seattle Seahawks defense held their end of the bargain. They did what they needed to do to win. They're the best defense probably in football right now, I'd say, especially left over, especially with only the two teams left. There's only two teams. But I will say this. I said I didn't think Sam Darnold would turn pumpkin, but my words were that the defense wouldn't let him turn pumpkin, but he wasn't a pumpkin regardless. He had a hell of a game, 3 touchdown passes. Hey, you got to give the man his flowers when he deserves them, right, guys?
Yeah,
it's true.
Canteen, what stats do you have for us on this game?
Yeah, man. So we hit the stats on this game. It was 27-31. We look at Matthew Stafford. He ended up going 22 for 35. He threw for 3 touchdowns, 374 yards. Corum, the running back from the Rams, 9 carries, 55 yards. And Puka Nacua, 9 receptions and 1 TD. But Sam Darnold, man, 25 for 36, 3 TDs, that's 346 yards. Kenneth Walker, 19 carries, 1 TD, 62 yards. And then Njigba Smith, 10 receptions, 1 TD, 153 yards. Here's my thing I want to talk about, Professor. I mean, where does this put McVay, and where does this kind of put? I mean, we all know that Stafford probably is going to end up being the MVP of the season with his numbers. He's had a phenomenal season, but for them winning at least 12 games, and then Seattle with Sam Darnold. I mean, what does that say for the Rams? But I mean, everybody thought Sam Darnold was going to turn into a pumpkin. That was on everybody's radar because he did what he did up in Minnesota, but then he ended up going to Seattle. He performed well in Seattle. The numbers look good on the offense. Their defense withstood all that came their way. But then you look at McVay and you look at a guy like Stafford. I mean, it's kind of like, how much does Stafford have left in the tank? Does McVay have anything left in the tank? But I mean, Seattle, they did what they came to do, man. And that, to me, out of the conference championships, that was the best game out of both of them.
Oh yeah. 100%.
Yeah, no, of course. No doubt about that. Bobby G, your thoughts?
Yeah, man, everybody's spot on. But to me, the biggest stat in the game was 0-0-0. 0 attempts, 0 yards, 0 touchdowns. And those zeros came from Zach Charbonnet. I actually think if he had played, I don't even think this game would have been close. And I'm not saying it would have been a blowout, but I think Seahawks would have won more handily had he played, because his fill-in, George Halani, he made a lot of mistakes out there. A few drop passes that Charbonnet definitely would have made. And I think his absence in the run game was felt, even though K9 did his part, did what he could. Obviously, they won the game. But I think I'm as good as the game was, as good as the series was, and as good as the season was for the entire division. I actually think the gap is bigger between the Seahawks, the Rams, and the Niners than it appears. So, and especially
In what way?
if Sam, like obviously this season, it appeared that they're relatively close. I think there's clearly a number one.
Seattle
Like for the regular season, a lot of people, it kind of looked
Seattle
like
by
it was.
far.
Yeah, I think it kind of looked like it could have been 1A, 1B, 1C. Now I think Seattle's clear number one, and the Rams and 49ers are fighting for second and third place. Especially if this is going to be the version of Sam Darnold that we get going forward. So,
I definitely agree with you there 100% in that division. But the Rams and Niners are still a top team in the NFC.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not saying that like that. I'm just saying that in the regular season it could have looked like it was 1A, B, and C, but it's clearly
Correct.
Seattle, then the Rams and 49ers.
No, I got you. I agree with you there.
Do you think if the Rams would have won, you would have still had the Seattle Seahawks?
I don't think the Rams would have won that game. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like they didn't get it done. If Charbonnet plays, I think they win that game by at least 10.
Okay. But they did play them close enough, and they did play them close enough that they could have won that game if something went the other way on the other side. Clubber D, this is your division, so how do you feel about those last thoughts?
Well, I mean, the Rams had a chance when Woolen had that penalty when he was taunting the sideline, and I gave the Rams a chance late in the game, and it's like, all right, this is that bonehead moment where you guys need to capitalize. But they didn't, and Sam Darnold, like everyone mentioned, he's shocked everybody, and he's take the pumpkin away unless he does in Super Bowl. But right now he's that dude. And I agree with Charbonnet. He would have added a little more than the backup, because when he said his name, I was gonna be like, who? But it's and with the Niners against McDonald against Kyle, like Kyle was doing trick plays just to get 1 yard against him. We've only scored 18 points or something like that in the last it was something like last 8 quarters. It's only been 16 points, something wild like that. So he definitely has his number to where Kyle is reaching, and we could say injuries and whatnot, fine, whatever. But still, right now I got Seattle as the top dog. I got the Rams, and then I got the Niners. We want to go in that order because they're getting for our game, at least they were getting into Brock Purdy without blitzing. They're just moving Jake Brindle out, moving our center out the way, and Dominic Pooney, our guards, is out the way and getting at Brock Purdy, who had to run 400 yards behind the line of scrimmage just to try to throw the ball. So, but in this game, it's weird. You look at the last game that Seattle won, and Jigba didn't get off until the third quarter or fourth quarter. He didn't do nothing in the first half, and then went off. And this game, he was from pillar to post. He was showing out. So Seattle's gonna be tough to beat, and they definitely did their thing. And Darnold, will this be the last time we see him? But McVay's flirting around retirement. Who knows? I know Canteen, you mentioned that, how much gas he has left in the tank.
Right.
Me personally, Chelsea, they all should retire. Everybody.
You think Stafford should hang it up? You think Stafford should just be done?
Nah, I mean he looks
not the way this
good to be done right now. I think he's keep on going.
Yeah. He still performed at a high level. He's going to be the MVP, as we talked about. He didn't win this game, but that doesn't take away from the regular season that he had. Seattle, as everybody said, is a great D, and they are one that is only going to be able to get better as you go into the future. And Bobby G, you pointed out correctly. And I mentioned this the week before, Zach Charbonnet, shout out my fellow UCLA Bruin, love you, bro. But he tore his ACL, and that hurts when you don't have that thunder and lightning sort of combination that they needed. That being said, it was still a really good game. I don't think either team, I don't even think the Rams should feel, I would run it back if I were them. Good to see Cooper Kupp getting his revenge on his old team after they got rid of him.
Right.
You love to see that come up. But yeah, for now, Seattle's the better team. I think all three, even if you include the 49ers at full strength, I think all three of those teams are three of the best teams in the NFL. Yes.
So let me get you guys' opinion on everything, because and I don't want to take it away any wins that happened in the championship games, but the catch in the Denver Broncos game at the end, and then the Cooper Kupp catch were those catches, because if you look back at the Buffalo game, they basically called that an incomplete / interception when it was they're eerily similar. So what were your thoughts on I don't want to talk about, I guess we won't talk about the Denver Patriots game, but that catch from Cooper Kupp, would you guys look at that
exactly
and say
the same.
It wasn't a catch?
It was exactly the same play, except no interception. That's what I said that when we talked about that catch during that week. They don't know what a catch is. They need to figure it out. Because if it's a catch and you're in the end zone, it's a touchdown, right? Like, oh, you already crossed the plane.
You cross that plane, yeah.
You know? Yeah, and then if you don't cross the plane, it's not. Why?
Because that line wraps around the world.
Yeah, but it's still stupid.
And we had that Megatron rule when he caught the ball against the Raiders when he caught it and just dropped it.
Right.
And he said that wasn't a catch. So
yeah,
because
if that play happens, right?
It's all over again, bro. It's Des
Bryant
all over.
Yeah.
Because that catch was on second down. So it would have been third down and like 10, right? Or third down and 8, something like that. So they still could have got a first down on the next play, but they called that one a first down. The clock kept going. They rolled down the field. So that's what I was just wondering. What are you guys' thoughts on that catch? And then, you look back at Buffalo and, it could be a different story, but.
Yeah. And I also want to.
Buffalo catch, that was a pick to me. My understanding, you got to control it through the ground. Plus, the defender's hand was still clearly in between the receiver and the ball. So it wasn't like he had clear possession. He never had 100% possession. They hit the ground. The defender took it away. Hit the weight room, bro.
I don't think you could tell if he had possession or not. That's the problem.
No, he did. You clearly see the defender's arm in there as they're going to the ground. And then when he hit the ground, he freaking took it. Hit the weight room. Get your weight up.
Cooper Kupp was his drop, though.
Yeah, you want to hear argument from me on that one?
Yeah. All right, cool. And what is everybody's thoughts around? We don't have to go long on this, but I'll just make it easy since everybody's here. Should the Vikings have kept Sam Darnold? I think is a pretty legitimate question to ask. Should they feel like they made the right decision? Now take everything into account, right? They still got McCarthy there. They won their last 5 games. He's still their quarterback of the future. They saved, $20-30 million. What do we think about this decision? Where should anybody have the thoughts?
I think. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Peach.
I said I think hindsight. Yeah, you say they should have kept him.
Mm-hmm.
But when you draft a quarterback as high as they did, you kind of got to get rid of him, right?
Right.
I agree with what they did, but it looks stupid now because of hindsight.
And that's what I thought, because they hadn't fired the GM until he made those comments looking back on the mistake he made.
Right.
And
they just recently fired him, right?
Today.
Yesterday, yeah.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's the thing I was going to say. They fired that dude.
Go ahead, man.
He made the comment, but they asked him a question.
What was he supposed to do? Right.
I know. That was a weird predicament for him to be into, because you kind of don't ever get that. Like, do you think you should have kept him? And then, wow, what is he supposed to say? But
you can talk your way out of that. He should be trained to talk his way out of that.
Right.
I fluff around that.
Right. Yeah. You should be able to skirt around certain circumstances, situations, and different things like that. I mean, should they have kept him in hindsight? Yeah, but it's like as Pete just mentioned, it's a money thing, man. When you got a guy like McCarthy and the way he came out, it's hard to deviate and go from that. But like I said, man, Sam Darnold, he's 3. I mean, everybody thought he was gonna be a pumpkin, but I mean, he has come to the forefront and played good football all year since he left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely right. All about the money. When you got a high draft pick like that, and mind you, you're on the clock as soon as you draft him, so you got 5 years, right? He got hurt, missed his rookie year. Now you got 4 years, right? And it just depends on the value you're putting on Sam Darnold. Like, they offered him $25 million, which is solid for a bridge QB, right?
Right.
Seattle came in with the 35. It's like, do we really want to go that high when I have my first round pick, who I need to see if he can play in this league?
Right.
Plus, people forget they also had Daniel Jones, who they tried to keep as well. So it was more than just a Darnold decision. He had a 3 QB decision to make, and it is what it is.
Yeah, again, I think you said it best, Peach. In hindsight, yeah, you'd love to have kept Darnold, but he failed those last 2 playoff games. It put a sour taste in your mouth. You have a rookie QB. You're saving $30 million. You got to find out at some point. He made the right decision in my mind. It just didn't work out, kind of thing. It wasn't like when Nico Harrison traded Luka. That was just flat out a bad decision. Now, you can say whatever you want in hindsight. Now the Cooper flag is putting up 49 as an 18-year-old, but You know,
Omar, you brought up the biggest point. He also left a sour taste in their mouth at the end.
Mm-hmm.
He did what he normally does before this year.
Yep, pumpkin.
Right? So they assume, no, we're going to go with the top pick rookie that we drafted, and we'll move on from the guy that's going to choke every year in big games.
Yeah,
and
I think it was a good decision again.
Yeah, it was a good decision. But like I said,
they're about to trade for Mac Jones anyways.
Yeah, it looks horrendous in hindsight. That's all it is. It's just a hindsight thing. And firing the GM now makes no sense to me. This is a bad time to fire him. I mean, all the other guys are fired now. You're scooping from the bottom of the barrel. Yeah. Like this is a stupid idea. I think you keep one more year in my mind.
So hey, let me ask you guys this: is Darnold the Tom Brady? Because think about it, McCarthy doesn't get injured last year at the beginning of the season. Darnold's not playing, right?
Right.
McCarthy's probably playing most of the season. So look what he did last year. He goes 14-2, 14-3. Then he gets the he doesn't get traded, but he gets basically picked up by Seattle this year. And look what he does this year. And you're looking at it like, damn, if McCarthy doesn't get hurt last year, he's probably the backup for the Minnesota Vikings this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you just brought up another good point. I think I read that he's the first quarterback in NFL history to win 14 games back to back with two different teams. Back to back in general, maybe.
No, you're right.
No,
Subscribe on YouTube at Ball and Buds for sports and entertainment.